This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about Saquon Barkley. Yes, he's getting praise from a vet like Lane Johnson. Also, there's a lot of pressure on Kellen Moore, but let's get straight into it. All right, man, let's hop straight into it. Let's talk about Kellen Moore, man. Kellen Moore, his name has been, around. We talking about Nick Sirianni giving up play calling to him and how Kellen Moore is going to just bring new life into the Philadelphia Eagles. And that been the narrative. And I think there's a lot of pressure on him to be that guy. But let's listen to Jeremy Flower talk about Kellen Moore, Jalen Hurts, and Nick Sirianni.
In the new system.
Yeah, well, I'm told that the Eagles have spent a lot of time this offseason taking the old offense, or Nick Sirianni's system last year that Jalen Hurts is used to, mixing it with Kellen Moore's principles, putting it all in a pot with some gumbo and seeing what works and what Jalen Hurts is comfortable with. I'm told Hurts has done a good job this offseason of being vocal and taking ownership of the plays he likes, the plays he doesn't. Nick Sirianni has really trusted the process, trusted his new veteran play caller to handle a lot of things. Even though he's an offensive-minded head coach, he's not micromanaging everything, and so they're getting to work on it. And the feeling around the league, talking to several teams, that Saquon Barkley will make a major impact, maybe even like a Christian McCaffrey to 49ers type impact, because he's never had this sort of supporting cast, this kind of offensive line.
Yeah.
He's going to make Hurts' job a lot easier.
It's been funny to look at it and say,
As you see, I reported on what he said about Jalen Hurts yesterday, how Jalen Hurts is being more of that vocal leader, but he also went into depth about Nick Sirianni basically trusting Kellen Moore and how Kellen Moore is, he's going to bring new life into the Philadelphia Eagles offense. And I like the idea, but we got to be honest about Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys let him go due to a conflict between him and Mike McCarthy, which he was eventually let go. But then he was eventually let go against the Chargers, and now he's with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not saying that to bash him. I'm saying that, like, there's a lot of pressure, because if he fails in Philadelphia, it's probably ain't gonna be no more jobs for him out there, because they're gonna be like, yo, you had at one point MVP runner up, you had Saquon Barkley, you had AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard, and you just had all these weapons. What happened? And you got one of the best O lines, so there's no excuse for him, and he don't have to worry about Nick Sirianni stepping on his toes. So in a good way, it's like, yes, we got Kellen Moore. We know all these great things that he did. But then it's like, well, he somewhat failed in other places. And hopefully, it don't come back to bite us. And I'm just being honest about this stuff. I know I'm going to get heat for this, but I'm being honest. There's a ton of pressure on him just to bring new life into this Philadelphia offense, because when you look at the numbers last year, actually wasn't that bad. I think we was still in the top 10 in offense. We still put up a lot of points until that 5-game stretch. It looked like one of the worst offense. And Kellen Moore got to beat those numbers, man. He got to beat those numbers, and the offense got to look more fluid. And we remember, Eagles fans will always remember Shane Steichen, because when Nick Sirianni decided to give up play calling and give it to Shane Steichen, we went to the Super Bowl and we had one of the best offense. Like, we will forever love Shane Steichen. And now, can Kellen Moore do the same thing, but bring home the chip? Can he have us in that top 5 offense? Can we have AJ Brown having a phenomenal season, Devontae Smith having a phenomenal season? Because he's going to get compared not to last year's offense. Hopefully he's better than that. Hopefully he never get compared to that offense, but he's going to get compared to what Shane Steichen did with Jalen Hurts. And can he do the same thing? Can he basically duplicate or even more get higher success with this offense? And he got more weapons than Shane Steichen. The only thing Shane Steichen had over Kellen Moore is Jason Kelce. Now Kellen Moore's not going to have Jason Kelce, which can be a really bad thing, because Jason Kelce, we know he was like the leader of the offensive line, but you still got a solid offensive line. You got weapons, and you got Saquon, and Shane Steichen ain't have a Saquon. He had to deal with Miles Sanders, and which, as the season was going on and on, Miles Sanders was getting worse and worse, and I'm just being honest. But overall, man, again, a lot of pressure is on Kellen Moore. And even Lane Johnson had this to say about Kellen Moore.
It was something that went by so fast, and I know effort wasn't a problem. So, but looking forward to obviously this new offense under Kellen Moore. Going to be some things changed up for us up front, and yeah, just excited, man. 12th year, it's crazy how fast it goes by.
You see what I mean? Even Lane Johnson, like, yeah, Kellen Moore's gonna do these, new things, change it up from the offense, something in that matter. Again, a ton of pressure, man, a ton of pressure. Hopefully, he can handle it, because Philly, we love him right now because anything can be better than that offense last year, even though the numbers look great. But the real, if you know, you know. Even though we love him now, if he, not running the ball and doing silly stuff and not featuring AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, yeah, the fans will turn on him real quick. Right now, we defended him, but there's a ton of pressure. Again, a ton of pressure on him. And speaking of a ton of pressure, I think another guy on our team has a ton of pressure too is Saquon Barkley. I say this because we didn't have a guy of his caliber since Shady McCoy. And shout out to Barkley and Shady McCoy. They actually was just at some golfing thing together and took a picture. But we haven't had a really good running back like him in a while. And even Lane Johnson praised a guy like Saquon Barkley. We called him physically imposing, but let me play this clip.
Size and speed is your newest teammate, Saquon Barkley. You were around him this offseason. You're out there on the field with him. What have you seen, felt, and enjoyed about getting to know Saquon? I know you knew him from the Pro Bowl and stuff like that. But as a teammate now, as an Eagle, I think he feels super excited about this part of his next career.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, once you see him, you'll never forget this, physically imposing guy. I think he walks around 230. He likes to golf, so we've been golfing a few times. He's ultra competitive, but yeah, I mean, when you see obviously what he can do at the running back position, and we can flex him out at receiver, and he can, he can go. It's really unbelievable. I never thought that he would be playing for us, but here it is. I know that he's excited. We're definitely excited up front, and yeah, man, I think he's poised for a big year.
You see, Saquon has a lot of pressure, man, but Kellen Moore has to get him involved because again, we haven't had a running back like him. Like you can split out to the wide receiver, and we had DeAndre Swift. I don't want to say we ain't had no. Let me take that back. I won't say we didn't have no running back like Saquon in a long time. DeAndre Swift could have been that guy, but Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni thing screwed them over. But you can't do that to Saquon because Saquon got some over DeAndre Swift. That is money. Money talks. You're not going to pay a guy, like 12, 13 million a year to, not touch the ball. So we're going to split him out to the outside like how we were supposed to do with DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was supposed to be the ultimate weapon. I think Saquon is going to be that ultimate weapon. Because, again, Kellen Moore banged on the table for Saquon. I want Saquon. How he was like, you want Saquon? We going to go get him for you. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to live up to the hype, but it's up to Kellen Moore to give this man the ball. Definitely got to give this man the ball and show what he got. Because a lot of doubt is on Saquon Barkley. And I remember the same thing for the 49ers when they traded for Christian McCaffrey. If you look at Christian McCaffrey numbers with the Panthers, they wasn't like great, but what your eyes tell you is like, yo, if he was on a better team and if he can stay healthy, yeah, Christian McCaffrey could be that dude. And he went to the 49ers, changed life. They've been to the Super Bowl, they've been to NFC championships, and he's been the X factor, if not the best player on their team for quite some time. You think it's Saquon. Yeah, Saquon had a great year, definitely a really good rookie year, but injuries, and everybody say this when they see Saquon, man, if he just had an O-line, a decent quarterback, and some weapons on the outside, he can do his thing. His numbers don't tell the true talent that he is. Saquon, and now he got the players, he got the coaches. Now he can show he's that guy. But Kellen Moore has to feature him. I think he's going to show he's that guy. Definitely over 1,000 yards. So we're going to have 3 different running backs. And I think all of them is going to achieve that. And I believe Saquon will stay healthy. I believe Saquon will see massive holes in a good way in the offensive line. A lot of running lanes. A lot of running lanes. Because if you decide to clog the box on them, okay, cool. We got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. You can't sleep on them. And if you decide to back off, okay, we got a weapon right there that's ready to, break out for 30, 40 yards. We know how Saquon is. Saquon will hit them home runs. So hopefully, Saquon could bring them home runs to Philadelphia. And hey, man, what do you think? How do you feel? A short video on this one, man. Not many topics, It's that time. It's definitely that time of the year where as though the news is not really there. But I'm going to give y'all anything I can pull, anything I seen. Like the Lane Johnson interview, you got to check that out. And Kellen Moore, what is he going to do? Saquon Barkley, will he live up to the hype? Because Lane Johnson and these guys are bigging him up. And same thing for Kellen Moore. The bit media is going to be watching them. The Cowboy haters, the Charger haters, whatever little fan base they got, is going to be watching them. And, hopefully Kellen Moore could bring new life to this offense. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm up.